There are numerous stories that suggest that women were dropping like flies during the olden days. According to many accounts, it appears that during the 1800s and older, genteel women had difficulty remaining conscious in response to even minor emotional or physical shocks. Now that I have your attention, welcome to our series on toxic beauty trends in history. In this episode, we're diving even deeper into the strange and sometimes deadly ways women have tried to look their best and ways they were expected to conform to certain beauty standards, putting their lives, physical health, and emotional well-being at risk. So, grab your smelling salts and hold on tight, this is going to be a wild ride. Here are the top 10 most harmful practices royalties and women of status went through in the name of beauty. Belladonna eye drops. If you think red eyes are unattractive, just wait until you try belladonna eye drops. That's right, ladies, our Renaissance ancestors used to drip this toxic plant extract into their eyes to dilate their pupils and achieve that dreamy look. Who needs vision when you can have beauty, am I right, since belladonna is known to cause blurred vision, confusion, hallucinations, and even death in large doses. Lead-based cosmetics. You know what they say, nothing says sexy like lead poisoning. Said no one ever. Ah, good old Queen Elizabeth I of England. She was quite the trendsetter in her day, especially when it came to toxic beauty practices. Let me tell you about one of her favorite beauty trend. So, Queen Elizabeth I of England loved to use white lead-based makeup to achieve her iconic pale complexion. This makeup was not only toxic but also extremely heavy, so it probably made her face feel as though she was wearing a helmet. Talk about a beauty regime that weighed on her. That's why many women in Victorian time as well as other eras, being pale was the fashion statement of the time, and many went to great lengths to keep their skin looking as white as possible. One of the most bizarre methods was to apply a mixture of vinegar and lead to the face, which resulted in the royals suffering from lead poisoning. Who cares if your bones are slowly disintegrating or experience lead poisoning symptoms and even death, you look fabulous. And if you had freckles and blemishes, a concoction with sulfur, turpentine, and mercury was used. These toxic ingredients, after being used for years, took their toll on the skin, leaving it gray and shriveled. But that's not all. Red bug lipstick. Queen Elizabeth I also had a thing for red lipstick. It was her signature look and was achieved from a mixture of beeswax and red dye, such as cochineal, a pigment derived from crushed insects. This mixture was then applied to the lips using a small brush or stick, so it's safe to say that the queen had some bug juice on her lips. We hope it didn't attract too many unwanted suitors. Arsenic facials. Ah, arsenic, the deadly poison that doubles as a beauty treatment. That's right, folks, our Victorian ancestors were so desperate for that coveted pale complexion, they'd slather on a paste made of arsenic and vinegar. Who needs healthy skin when you can have a shiny, metallic glow? Using arsenic to whiten the skin was quite common, with some royals indulging in this bizarre beauty practices. Queen Victoria Eugenia of Spain was a big fan of arsenic-based face creams, which she believed would give her skin a beautiful glow. Arsenic bath. During the Victorian era, arsenic was believed to have a variety of health benefits, including the ability to improve the complexion, reduce inflammation, and alleviate joint pain. As a result, many people, including members of the royal family, began taking arsenic baths as a form of medical treatment. The process of taking an arsenic bath typically involved adding a small amount of arsenic powder to a bathtub filled with water. The person would then soak in the water for a period of time, usually around 20 to 30 minutes. Some people also drank small amounts of arsenic as a tonic. Despite the dangers, the use of arsenic baths continued for many years, and it wasn't until the 20th century that the true dangers of the practice became widely known. Today, the use of arsenic in any form as a medical treatment is strictly prohibited. It seems like arsenic was a popular ingredient back then. Whalebone corsets. Do you ever feel like your ribcage is just too darn big? Well, our Victorian ancestors had a solution. In the Victorian era, the ideal beauty standard was to have a small waist, wearing tightly laced corsets to achieve an hourglass figure. And Princess Alexandra was no exception. She was known to wear tight corsets that could constrict her waist to as small as 18 inches. And if that's not bad enough, some women even went as far as having ribs removed to achieve the desired effect. I guess you could say they were really trying to live life on the rib edge. These torturous contraptions would crush their internal organs and make it nearly impossible to breathe. They also caused long-term damage to the skeletal system as well as nerve and muscle tissue. But hey, at least they looked skinny, right? The tapeworm diet. Who needs a gym membership when you can just swallow a tapeworm? That's the idea behind this bizarre weight loss trend, where people would intentionally infect themselves with tapeworms to shed those pesky pounds. I mean, who cares about malnutrition and internal bleeding when you can fit into your skinny jeans? The idea that women in the Victorian era intentionally ingested tapeworms to lose weight is a popular myth, but there is little evidence to support it. Ingesting tapeworms can cause serious health problems, such as malnutrition, abdominal pain, and even death. While it is true that tapeworms were sometimes used as a weight loss treatment in the past, this practice was never widespread or medically endorsed. There are some accounts of women in the Victorian era taking worm pills or other dubious weight loss remedies, but it is unlikely that they contained actual tapeworms. In fact, many of these products were little more than snake oil, containing harmful or ineffective ingredients. Overall, while there may have been some instances of people intentionally ingesting tapeworms to lose weight in the past, it was not a common practice. Ammonia hair dye. If you think your hair dye smells bad, just be glad you're not living in ancient time. Back then, people would mix ammonia and animal urine to create a dye that would turn their hair a lovely shade of brown. Yup, forget blonde ambition, brown is the new black, baby. Lead hair dye. Queen Mary I of England was known for her bright red hair, which she achieved by using a mixture of sulfur and lead. Unfortunately, this caused her hair to fall out, leaving her bald in some places. Talk about a hair-raising experience. Due to that, lead-based hair dyes of various recipes were made for women at that time to achieve the same look, causing a range of health problems, including nausea, stomach pain, and chronic headaches. In conclusion, some old beauty trends and regime was a mix of toxic and bizarre practices that would make even the bravest beauty bloggers shudder.